They were cast out by the galaxy, but Earth took them in. Their hulls were scarred, their engines weak, and their crews tired beyond hope. They had been moving for years, always pushed forward, never welcomed. Every system they reached sent the same message in different words. You are not allowed here. Turn back. Do not return. They were not pirates. They were not invaders. They were survivors. Their species once belonged to a small but proud alliance in the galactic community. They had their own worlds, their own voices, and their own ways of living, but they refused to change who they were. They refused forced rules, genetic limits, and cultural silence. That made them a problem. When larger powers demanded obedience, they said no. When told to erase parts of themselves to fit in, they refused again. So the galaxy decided they were too dangerous to keep around. One by one, treaties were broken, trade stopped, borders closed, fleets arrived not to destroy them but to push them away. Their worlds were taken under protection laws that did not protect them at all. Evacuation was ordered. They were given ships, barely enough supplies, and a single warning: never come back. Now, years later, their fleet floated near the dark between stars. Inside the largest ship, a council gathered in a dim chamber. The air was thin and smelled of old metal. Screens flickered as power struggled to stay steady. Elder Rin sat at the center, his posture stiff with age and loss. Around him were others, leaders who had once guided cities and sciences. Now they guided only refugees. We cannot keep moving, Rin said quietly. Our fuel is low, our children are weak, another jump may be our last. No one argued, they all knew the truth. A younger voice spoke from the side. We have one direction left. The room turned toward the star map. Most of it was marked in red, systems that had refused them. A few were black, unknown, or unreachable. One small yellow marker blinked near the edge. Soul, the voice said. Some hissed in fear, others laughed in disbelief. That is a Deathworld system, another elder said. Class 5, unstable climate, violent history. The species there is young and divided. And ignored, the younger one replied. They are not part of the Galactic Council. Rin studied the marker, soul. He remembered the reports. Humans, fragile bodies, short lives, fast minds, constant conflict, but also strange things. Endurance, creativity, stubborn kindness in the middle of cruelty. Has anyone ever asked them for help? Rin asked. Silence followed. Then we ask, he said. We ask and we accept whatever answer comes. The decision was made without ceremony. There was no hope left to lose. The signal was prepared using the last working long-range array. It was simple, stripped of pride and politics. No demands, no threats, only truth. We are refugees. We have nowhere else to go. If you do not answer, we will fade into the dark. The signal jumped across space, weak but clear, heading toward a small blue world that had no idea it was being chosen. On Earth, it was early morning in a quiet monitoring station in the desert. The building was low and plain, surrounded by sand and wind. Inside, screens glowed softly, watched by a handful of tired workers. John Carter sat with a cup of cold coffee in his hand, eyes half-focused on lines of data scrolling past. He had worked night shifts for years. Most of the time, nothing happened. Space was loud with noise but quiet with meaning. Then one line changed. John leaned closer. He frowned and tapped the screen. The signal was weak, buried under static, but it did not match any known pattern. It was not random. It was structured. His heart began to beat faster. Hey, he called to a coworker across the room. Take a look at this. Sam turned in his chair and rolled over. Another glitch? No, John said. I don't think so. Together they watched as the system cleaned the signal. Symbols resolved into patterns, patterns into meaning. Sam's face slowly changed. This is not human, he said. John swallowed. And it's not hostile. They read the message in silence. When it ended, the room felt too small. We need to report this, Sam said. We will, John replied, but not quietly. Within hours, the signal reached higher levels. Scientists, military officers, and analysts gathered in secure rooms. Arguments started almost at once. It could be a trick. They admit they were cast out. Why would they come here? Do you know what kind of attention this will bring? But some listened past the fear. Dr. Lisa Morrow stood at the edge of the room, arms folded, eyes fixed on the translated text. She had spent her life studying the idea of contact, always as theory. Now it was real. They are not asking for protection, she said when given the chance to speak. They are asking for shelter. There is a difference. Shelter leads to responsibility, someone replied. "So does ignoring them," Lisa said calmly. Far from the meeting rooms, news did not yet reach the public. But people like Amy Brooks were already feeling something shift. Amy worked in disaster response. She knew the signs of a coming crisis: supply requests, quiet meetings, strange questions. When she asked what was happening, she was told to wait. She did not wait. She began preparing empty facilities, old shelters, places that could hold people, or something like people. Back in space, the refugee fleet waited. Time stretched painfully. Each hour drained power. Each silence felt like a verdict. Children slept close to walls to stay warm. Adults whispered prayers to nothing. Rin watched the stars from a narrow window. He did not expect mercy. He only hoped for honesty. Then the calm lights flickered. A signal returned. Weak, uncertain, but real. Voices filled the command deck. Some cried out. Others froze in fear. The message was short. "We hear you. We are listening." Rin closed his eyes. It was not a promise. It was not permission. But it was more than the galaxy had ever given them. On Earth, John sat back in his chair, hands shaking slightly. He knew the moment he sent the reply that nothing would be the same. The universe had answered itself, and humanity was now part of the question. Outside, the sun rose over a quiet world. Unaware that it had just become a refuge, the news of the alien signal spread quickly through Earth's command centers, though most of the world remained unaware. Inside the secure rooms, debates raged. Diplomats argued about the risks. Generals worried about the unknown technologies the aliens might bring. Scientists were curious, excited, and cautious all at once. It was the first time in human history that someone so different had reached out directly and desperately. John Carter and Sam watched the discussions from their station. They had both hoped for a cautious response, but the pace of the debate shocked them. Papers were signed, countersigned, and then ignored as voices clashed over who should speak for Earth. Doctor. Lisa Morrow, standing tall amid the chaos, tried to cut through the noise. "We cannot ignore them," she said firmly. "We have been given a chance to do something no other species dared. They ask for help. Not weapons, not allegiance, just a place to survive." The room fell silent for a moment. Then a general spoke, voice low but sharp. "If we offer them sanctuary, we risk retaliation. Every major galactic power will know we interfere. They will see this as an act of defiance." Lisa turned to face him. "And if we do nothing? They will die, and their deaths will be on our hands. History will remember our fear, not our caution." Arguments continued, but a plan began to form. The decision would not be easy, but Earth would answer the call. A small group of ships, lightly armed and carrying supplies, would be sent to the alien fleet. The message accompanying them would be simple: "You are welcome." Amy Brooks worked quietly in the background. She was not a diplomat or a scientist, only a coordinator with experience in disaster management. Yet she became essential. She identified empty stations, old colonies, unused habitats, and storage facilities that could hold thousands. She prepared rooms with basic supplies: water, food, blankets, and medical kits. She knew nothing would be enough, but something was better than nothing. Back in space, the alien fleet waited. Days stretched into weeks. Each jump drained more fuel, and every minor failure reminded them of their fragile state. The children grew thin and pale. Adults became silent, conserving energy. Hope, fragile as it was, began to waver. One night, aboard the largest ship, Elder Rin walked through the corridors, stopping at the small rooms where families huddled together. He looked at the young faces, at eyes too old for their years, and felt a weight heavier than any he had known. "We will reach them," he whispered to himself. "They will not abandon us like the others." His assistant, a younger commander named Talais, followed quietly. "You believe this world will help us?" she asked. Rin did not answer immediately. He thought of all the systems that had cast them out, all the fleets that had turned away, all the warnings. Yet something in this signal felt different. It carried no threat, no demand, only willingness to listen. "I do not know," he said finally, "but we have no choice. If we die in the dark, there is nothing left for us. If we reach them, there is at least a chance." The ships continued their slow drift toward Sol. Every minor maneuver was calculated, every risk weighed. They had learned to travel quietly to avoid detection, but now they traveled with a cautious hope. On Earth, John and Sam monitored the fleet constantly. They tracked its movement across space, noting how weak the ships were, how desperate the crew seemed. Sometimes they simply watched, feeling a strange connection to these beings they had never met. Lisa Morrow visited the stations where the first reception preparations were happening. She walked through the shelters Amy had arranged. Rooms were lined with beds and supplies. Volunteers moved quietly, preparing for beings they could not imagine. "Do you think they will trust us?" a young volunteer asked her. She paused and looked around at the empty rooms. "Trust is earned," Lisa said. "We will start by showing them we are sincere. No weapons unless necessary, no questions unless they want to answer. We have a chance to be the first to meet them without fear. Let us not waste it." As Earth prepared, small signals were exchanged with the alien fleet. Simple communications. Questions about coordinates, life support, and supplies. The aliens were cautious, expecting lies or traps, but every message from humans was honest. Every answer was direct. In the alien fleet, Taileyes watched the small, blinking dots of communication. It was the first sign in years that someone was truly paying attention. She allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps they are different," she said quietly to Rin. "Perhaps," he replied. "We shall see." The journey was long. During the transit, small problems arose. One ship's engine failed completely. Another had a breach in its life support. Crews worked tirelessly, sometimes sacrificing their own rest to help the weak. Despite exhaustion, despite fear, no one gave up. Survival had become a daily act of determination. One evening, Rin held a council with the other leaders. The map of Sol hovered in front of them, a small blue dot in a vast black space. "We approach," he said. "They will receive us soon. Some will welcome us. Some may reject us. We must be ready for anything." Taileyes spoke next. "They are humans, fragile, yes, but they are not like the others. They have endured chaos on their own world and survived. Perhaps we can learn from that." "We have nothing left to lose," Rin said. "We move forward and we hope. Hope is all we have now." The alien children grew curious about the stars they passed. They had never seen so many, never felt the emptiness of space so close. Adults taught them the old stories, the histories of their lost worlds, the lessons of survival. Even as fear gnawed at their hearts, moments of joy existed, small games in the corridors, whispered songs, laughter that was rare but real. On Earth, the humans continued preparations. Training exercises were conducted for the arrival. Communication teams were readied. Medical staff were briefed on alien biology, which was difficult but necessary. Volunteers practiced handling scenarios of illness, panic, or confusion. Amy Brooks worked closely with the volunteers. She reminded them that the aliens were not monsters, nor were they enemies. They were beings like humans, displaced and scared. The volunteers nodded, though fear lingered. Fear is always human, she thought, but courage is what we do with it. As the fleet neared Sol, human satellites detected the faint outlines of the ships. John Carter watched the readings with a mixture of awe and tension. Every monitor showed weakness, but also persistence. The fleet that had been rejected by the galaxy now approached Earth, a world that had done nothing to deserve such attention. For the first time in generations, the aliens allowed themselves to dream of safety. For the first time, they imagined a world that would not turn them away. "We may survive," Taileyes said softly to Rin. Rin looked at her at the blinking lights of their fleet at the empty blue planet ahead. "We may," he said. "And if we do, we will remember who gave us this chance. Let us hope the humans are as steadfast as they seem." In the quiet of space, two very different species moved toward each other, separated by light years but connected by desperation and courage. The galaxy had turned them away, but Earth had chosen to listen. And sometimes that choice is enough to change everything. The alien fleet approached Earth slowly, each ship carefully navigating the solar system. Their sensors picked up the blue planet, the storms, the oceans, and the land. It was alive, unpredictable, and beautiful. They had seen many worlds, but none like this. On Earth, John Carter watched the incoming ships with a mix of excitement and fear. The human team had prepared landing zones, cleared of obstacles, and monitored for safety. Small teams of envoys, scientists, and medics were ready to greet the newcomers. Lisa Morrow and Amy Brooks stood near the first landing site. The field was wide, flat, and marked with lights for navigation. Volunteers moved quietly, checking equipment, preparing for anything. Everyone could feel the tension in the air. This was a moment that could define human history. The first ship descended, slow and careful. The aliens inside watched through reinforced windows. They had expected armed humans, barriers, or even traps. Instead, they saw simple figures, unarmed, waving cautiously. Rin, the elder of the alien fleet, watched his crew closely. He could see their fear and wonder mirrored in their eyes. "Do not assume danger," he said quietly. "They are not like the others. Remain calm, remain true." When the landing was complete, the doors opened and the humans approached. They moved slowly, keeping their hands visible. John and Lisa led the group, smiling gently. One of the aliens stepped forward, a tall being with gray skin and wide eyes. He studied the humans carefully, then spoke in a language that had been translated beforehand. "We are here," he said simply. "And you are welcome," Lisa replied. "This world is yours while you need it. We will help you in every way we can." The alien hesitated. For years they had been lied to, deceived, or rejected. They did not know how to respond to genuine kindness. Tail-Eyes, the young commander, stepped forward beside the gray-skinned alien. "Are you certain?" she asked. "We do not know certainty," Lisa said softly. "Only choice. You have chosen to come here, and we choose to help you." Slowly, the aliens disembarked. Children clung to parents. Adults moved cautiously, observing every detail of the landing site. They examined the buildings, the equipment, and the people. Nothing seemed threatening. Amy Brooks guided them to the shelters she had prepared. The rooms were simple, clean, and stocked with food, water, and medical supplies. Some aliens knelt to touch the floor, a gesture of respect or relief. For the first time in years, they felt safe. Over the next few days, humans and aliens began to communicate more openly. They shared meals, simple conversations, and stories. John Carter acted as a translator and observer, helping both sides understand each other. "Your planet is very different," Tail-Eyes said one morning, speaking to Lisa. "Your air, your gravity, it is hard for some of our people." Lisa nodded. "We know. Our scientists are studying ways to help you adjust. It will take time, but we will find solutions." Children of the alien fleet explored the fields outside, cautious but curious. They learned simple games from human children, laughing and shouting for the first time in years. Adults worked together to repair damaged ships, sharing techniques and tools. Not all humans were present at the landing. News of the arrival had spread quietly through government channels. Some leaders were nervous, worried about public panic or the reaction of other galactic powers. Yet at the landing site, only kindness and attention mattered. The aliens began to teach humans small things, too. Their technology, though strange, was useful. Simple adjustments could improve life support, energy efficiency, and communication systems. Karen Lee, a human engineer, worked closely with the alien technicians. She marveled at their ideas and methods. "Your designs are elegant," she said one afternoon, "so different from ours but very smart." Talented alien engineers smiled. "We survive because we must," one said. "Adaptation is everything." While humans and aliens learned from each other, tension outside the shelters quietly grew. Galactic news channels began reporting the arrival of the fleet. Some powers threatened retaliation, calling the aliens dangerous and labeling Earth a rebel planet. Diplomats and leaders argued over how to respond. On Earth, the humans decided not to respond to threats. They focused on helping the aliens adjust, on building trust, and on creating safety. Lisa Morrow reminded everyone, "We cannot control the galaxy. We can only control our actions here. Kindness and honesty must guide us." The aliens began to adapt to Earth slowly. Some found the air heavy, but their lungs adjusted with medical help. Their bodies reacted to gravity, but exercises and human techniques improved strength. Food was strange, but they learned to eat what was available. Children taught humans their language in small lessons. Adults shared stories of lost worlds, history, and culture. Humans listened, fascinated, and in turn shared tales of Earth, of survival, and of human struggles. Small bridges were built layer by layer. For many of the aliens, this was a shock. Trust had been broken too many times. They watched, waited, and tested the humans quietly. If a human lied, if an action seemed selfish, fear returned immediately. But every honest act, every gesture of care healed a little more of the old pain. One evening, Rin spoke to Lisa. "Your people are different from what we expected. We feared deceit, power, and greed. Instead, we see patience, kindness, and courage." "It is strange, unfamiliar, but welcome." "Humans are flawed," Lisa said softly. "We fight, we fail, but we can choose to care. That is what matters now." As days passed, humans and aliens began simple collaborations. Damaged ships were repaired, energy systems shared. Medical research advanced. Humans taught aliens about Earth technology, aliens taught humans new ways of thinking. Cooperation became a routine. John Carter observed quietly. He realized something remarkable. Fear had been replaced by curiosity and suspicion by shared purpose. It was not perfect. Misunderstandings happened daily. Sometimes arguments broke out over customs or habits. But every time, both sides listened, learned, and adjusted. Children became the bridge between worlds. Human and alien children played together, learned from one another, and laughed in ways that reminded everyone of hope. The adults began to see a future that had been unimaginable weeks ago. Taileyes observed the children, sitting near a small pond. She smiled at the sight of alien children splashing water while human children shouted and ran. "Perhaps this world is better than we hoped," she said to Rin. Rin nodded. "It is better because they choose to care. Hope is alive here, and that is rare." Yet even as bonds formed, caution remained. Rin reminded his people daily, "We are still watched. The galaxy does not forget. Our safety is temporary unless we are careful." Lisa Morrow and Amy Brooks worked tirelessly. They coordinated learning sessions, medical checks, and the integration of alien knowledge into human systems. Each small success was celebrated quietly. Each challenge was met with determination. One day, a young alien girl approached Amy. Her gray eyes were wide. "Why do your people help us?" she asked simply. Amy crouched to meet her gaze. "Because it is right," she said. "We would hope someone did the same for us if we were in your place." The girl thought quietly, then nodded. A small smile appeared. "Then I will try to learn." Over time, the alien fleet began to regain strength. Minor repairs restored mobility. Children regained health. Adults grew stronger. The fleet, once weak and wandering, was slowly becoming a part of this world. Yet beyond Earth, the galaxy watched. Reports of Earth's choice to shelter the exiles reached other civilizations. Whispers of rebellion, compassion, and defiance spread. Some saw Earth as a problem, others saw hope. On Earth, humans did not wait for approval. They acted. They chose trust over fear. They chose care over suspicion. And slowly, the aliens realized what they had feared for so long. Sometimes, a world could be different. Sometimes, strangers could be friends. For the first time in decades, Rin allowed himself to imagine a future. Perhaps this world could be a home. Perhaps his people could survive and thrive. Perhaps in the midst of fear and darkness, a place existed where they would not be cast aside. John Carter watched the fleet, standing under the pale sky of Earth. He thought of the long journey, the silent drift of ships, and the messages exchanged. He felt a sense of pride and responsibility. Humans had chosen compassion, and it was a dangerous but beautiful choice. The first week passed with cautious celebration. Meals were shared. Laughter echoed in corridors. Children played in fields. Engineers exchanged knowledge. Scientists debated techniques. And amid all this, a fragile trust was growing. Yet even as hope flourished, the humans and aliens knew that the galaxy had not forgotten. Some feared arrival of forces who would demand the fleet be returned. Some feared that kindness could be punished. But for now, Earth was a refuge, and that was enough. And for the first time, the aliens believed that a world might exist that would not only hear them but accept them. The sky above glowed with stars, indifferent yet constant. Below, humans and aliens worked together, slowly turning fear into understanding, distrust into trust, and desperation into hope. The long journey had led them here, to this quiet but alive world. And for the first time in many years, they could breathe without dread word of Earth's choice to shelter the alien fleet spread slowly at first. News channels on distant worlds picked up small reports, often dismissed as exaggeration. Then diplomats in nearby systems began sending formal complaints. The human decision, simple and compassionate as it seemed, was viewed as a bold challenge. Galactic powers were not used to being ignored. They expected compliance, submission, and obedience. Any species that defied them was dangerous. And now, humans had done exactly that. They had offered sanctuary to those others had cast out. On Earth, the humans noticed the first signs of concern when encrypted messages arrived from galactic authorities. Their tone was polite but firm. "Cease this action or face consequences. Provide the aliens for inspection. Remove your interference." John Carter read one of the messages aloud to the team. "They call us rebels," he said quietly. "They say we interfere." Lisa Morrow frowned. "They see us as a problem, not as humans helping refugees. They cannot understand kindness." Amy Brooks shook her head. We cannot stop helping them because someone else disapproves. That would be wrong. The Council on Earth debated how to respond. Some leaders wanted to yield, fearing retaliation. Others argued that humanity had survived chaos before and could survive now. They agreed to send measured, calm responses, stating that the aliens were guests and that Earth would ensure their safety. Back in the alien fleet, Rin sensed tension among his people. The galaxy watches us, he told his council. They do not like our survival here. They will send fleets. We must prepare. Talented engineers and soldiers began checking defensive systems, though no weapons were meant for attack. The aliens had no desire to fight Earth or its people, but they knew that survival required preparation. We cannot assume humans will defend us, Talai said. We must be ready to protect ourselves. Rin nodded. And yet we must trust them enough to survive. We have learned that kindness is possible, but it does not remove danger. On Earth, humans continued to integrate the aliens into daily life. Medical research teams studied their physiology, learning ways to help them adjust to Earth's gravity, air, and climate. Schools were created to teach languages, history, and culture on both sides. Engineers worked together to repair ships and share technology. Karin Lee, a human engineer, worked closely with alien technicians. Your energy system is remarkable, she said one day. It could double our output if adapted. An alien technician nodded. We survived because we learned to use little efficiently. Your world has abundance. We can improve together. Amid the learning and cooperation, fear still lingered. Humans worried about the response of galactic powers. Aliens feared being taken away, punished, or destroyed. Every small success was shadowed by the possibility of attack. One night, John Carter stayed late at the observation deck. He watched the alien ships, small lights blinking softly against the dark sky. He thought about the journey, the countless systems that had rejected them, and the hope now resting on Earth. Lisa Morrow joined him quietly. You worry too much, she said softly. We cannot control what others will do. All we can do is act rightly. John nodded. I know. It is just the galaxy does not forgive easily. Lisa placed a hand on his shoulder. Perhaps we are not asking for forgiveness. Perhaps we are only doing what is necessary. As the days passed, reports arrived that galactic forces were mobilizing. Small fleets moved quietly, observing Earth from afar. Their ships were larger, more advanced, and clearly intended to intimidate. Humans detected them through satellites and prepared defensive measures. Weapons were not deployed, but monitoring systems were increased. The aliens, meanwhile, began training quietly. Children and adults practiced moving efficiently on Earth, learning human techniques. Defensive drills were conducted with the guidance of human volunteers who understood risk. They did not want war, but they could not ignore it. One afternoon, Talais approached Rin. They are coming closer, she said. We can feel it in their patterns. They intend to confront us. Rin studied the star charts. They cannot force our destruction. Earth has chosen to protect us. We must be patient and watchful. On Earth, Amy Brooks organized training sessions for volunteers. They practiced communication, evacuation, and first aid. Children were taught to stay safe in case of emergencies. The humans did not want to frighten the aliens, but honesty was necessary. We must show them we are united, Amy said. Fear will only divide us. Trust and preparation will keep everyone safe. One evening, the aliens gathered in a large open field near their repaired ships. They watched the horizon, small lights flickering in the distance, signals from the approaching galactic fleet. Their anxiety was high, yet they found comfort in the humans at their side. Rin spoke quietly to Talais. They may believe we are weak, they may test us. But if we remain steady, they will see that unity is stronger than fear. Talented alien children played quietly nearby, unaware of the looming threat. Adults maintained calm, sharing food and stories, focusing on the present. Hope and fear coexisted in fragile balance. As the galactic fleets approached, diplomats sent messages. They demanded surrender. Humans ignored the threats publicly but quietly prepared defenses. Engineers reinforced shelters and ships. Medical teams stood ready for emergencies. The aliens observed humans in a new light. Their fear of betrayal began to lessen as they saw consistent honesty. Humans did not make empty promises. Every word was backed by action. Slowly, trust deepened. One day, John Carter and Lisa Morrow visited the fleet. They walked among the aliens, talking quietly, answering questions, and offering reassurance. "You have chosen well," Rin said to Lisa. "Your people are strong in ways the galaxy cannot measure. Your courage will protect us." Lisa smiled softly. "Strength is not always power. Sometimes it is patience, kindness, and persistence." As the galactic forces drew closer, the humans and aliens began small acts of preparation. Energy systems were adjusted to allow quick communication. Shelters were stocked. Small defensive measures were prepared, not to attack but to protect life. Children of both species were taught to stay together. Families shared meals. Trust continued to grow. They knew fear would come, but they also knew that cooperation had brought them this far. One night, Rin stood under the stars, looking at Earth below. The blue planet seemed calm, unaware of the approaching fleets. He thought of all the worlds that had cast them out, all the dangers they had faced. Yet here, for the first time, a place had chosen to welcome them without conditions. Talent alien technicians worked late into the night alongside human engineers, improving systems and sharing knowledge. A quiet bond was forming that would carry them through any coming conflict. On Earth, Amy Brooks moved through the shelters, checking supplies, monitoring children, and coordinating volunteers. Every small success gave her hope. The aliens were beginning to feel at home, and that was the most important thing. As the galactic fleets appeared on distant sensors, the humans and aliens faced a choice. They could panic, submit, or stand together. They chose to prepare with calm, honesty, and unity. Rick observed quietly, seeing humans act with courage and reason. He realized that the strength of this world was not in its weapons, but in its commitment to life and fairness. The galaxy may see weakness, he thought, but the truth is far different. Messages continued to arrive from galactic powers, warning, demanding, and threatening. Yet the humans continued their work, their patience, their preparation, and their care for the aliens. One afternoon, Tail turned to Rin. "Perhaps they will see that they cannot frighten us," she said. Rin nodded. "And perhaps they will learn that sometimes a world can be different. Sometimes kindness is the greatest power of all." The fleets outside waited, watching, calculating, and preparing. The humans and aliens inside Earth worked together, unaware of the exact moves the galaxy would take. Yet in this quiet preparation, unity had become their greatest weapon. Children laughed, adults taught, and engineers repaired. The simple acts of life continued, despite the looming shadow. For the first time in years, the alien fleet felt a sense of stability. They had allies, not enemies. They had trust, not fear. And as the stars continued to shine above, both humans and aliens knew that the coming days would test them. The galaxy would not yield, but neither would they. Together, they had built something that no force could easily destroy, a bond of life, trust, and hope. And sometimes, that bond is stronger than the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Galactic fleets arrived at the edge of Earth's system. Their massive ships blotted out the stars, silent but powerful. The humans and aliens watched from the surface and orbit, tense but prepared. They did not have fleets of their own. They did not have advanced weapons that could match the invaders. But they had something the galaxy had never understood: unity, determination, and the will to protect life. Rin and Tail stood on the observation deck of the largest alien ship. Behind them, engineers and scientists worked calmly, preparing communication arrays and power systems. "They expect fear," Tail said. "They expect submission." Rin nodded. "We will not give them fear. We will not give them submission. We have come this far because we trusted humans. Now we trust ourselves." On Earth, John Carter and Lisa Morrow coordinated teams across the planet. Volunteers, engineers, and medics moved quickly, ensuring shelters were secure and communication lines were active. Amy Brooks checked the final lists of supplies, knowing that panic would be deadly if the fleets tried anything reckless. The first message from the galactic forces arrived. It was formal, cold, and commanding. "Surrender the fleet immediately. Any resistance will be met with destruction. The humans have interfered where they should not. Compliance is mandatory." John read it aloud. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly. "They assume we will obey." Lisa looked out at the approaching ships. "Then we show them we do not." Rick and his council decided to send a message in return. They did not threaten, they did not beg. They spoke only truth. "We are here. We have been given sanctuary. We do not seek war. We will not leave. We will protect ourselves and those who shelter us." The galactic forces responded with demands and warnings again. Small probes entered the system, scanning, measuring, and intimidating. The humans and aliens did not fire, but every probe that came closer was met with active countermeasures. Simple shields, energy fields, and systems designed to protect rather than attack. Children and families watched from shelters, quiet but reassured by the calm of their leaders. Adults worked together, adjusting technology, monitoring threats, and ensuring communication between humans and aliens remained constant. One day, Talais approached Rin. "They are testing us," she said. "Small attacks on satellites attempts to block communications." Rin nodded. "They will learn. Patience and preparation are our strength. They cannot break trust or unity." Human engineers, including Karen Lee, worked with alien technicians to create new defense measures. They did not design weapons to destroy. They designed ways to shield the fleet, reroute energy, and keep everyone alive. Each innovation relied on collaboration, combining human resourcefulness with alien technology. "We cannot match them in power," Karen said, "but we can survive because we work together." On the surface, Amy Brooks coordinated shelters, ensuring children, families, and the elderly were safe. She trained volunteers to remain calm, to answer questions honestly, and to help the aliens understand Earth systems. The shelters became symbols of trust and cooperation, places where fear was met with care and hope. As the galactic fleets grew closer, they fired small warning shots into empty space. No humans or aliens were harmed, but the blasts shook satellites and tested shields. John Carter monitored the readings, heart pounding. "They are trying to scare us," he said. "Let them try," Lisa replied. "We do not fight with fear, we fight with resolve." Rick addressed the alien fleet, his voice steady through comms. "We will not strike unless necessary. We will protect ourselves. We trust humans because they have shown us that trust is possible. They will not abandon us." The human and alien teams worked together to send messages to the approaching fleets. They offered communication, reasoning, and warnings that any attack would be met with coordinated defense. There was no threat in tone, only firmness. And then it happened. A small strike fleet attempted a direct assault, entering Earth's atmosphere without permission. The humans and aliens were ready. Shields activated, energy fields redirected attacks harmlessly into space. No lives were lost. The invaders were forced back, their surprise broken by coordinated preparation. Rin allowed himself a small smile. "They will learn," he said. "We survive not because we fight, but because we are united." The alien children, watching from secure shelters, asked questions about the attacks. Their parents explained carefully. "We protect ourselves," one said. "We do not start wars, but we do not run from danger." On the surface, humans and aliens worked side by side. Volunteers helped guide civilians. Engineers monitored shields. Medical teams treated minor injuries from debris and panic. Communication teams ensured that messages between Earth and the fleet remained constant. The galactic forces tried again, sending larger fleets. But every move was met with preparation, every test met with calm and unity. Humans and aliens had become one coordinated team, using intelligence and collaboration instead of brute force. John Carter watched from the command center. "They do not understand," he said quietly. "They cannot see that we are stronger because we are together," Lisa nodded. "And they may never understand, but they will see the results." Rick addressed both humans and aliens. "This is our moment. We do not need to win by destroying them. We win by showing that trust, unity, and courage can withstand the galaxy." And slowly, the galactic forces realized that their intimidation tactics were failing. Probes were neutralized harmlessly. Attacks were blocked. Communications continued. They could not understand how a species so seemingly weak could resist without weapons, without hatred, without surrender. One commander in the approaching fleet, observing from afar, whispered, "They are not weak. They are different." The aliens laughed quietly, the first real laughter in years. The humans smiled, seeing the children playing safely, the adults working calmly, and the shelters full of life. After several tense days, the galactic fleets withdrew partially, unwilling to escalate further without risking total failure. Their communications remained hostile but less urgent. They had underestimated the unity of Earth and its aliens. Rick spoke to Talais. "They will test again, they always do, but we have shown them something new. Sometimes survival is stronger than force." On Earth, John Carter and Lisa Morrow looked at the sky. The fleets were distant now, but the lessons remained. Humans and aliens had survived together. Their bond had proven stronger than fear. Amy Brooks moved among the shelters, checking that everything remained in order. She felt pride and relief. The aliens were safe, children laughed, and the humans had risen to the occasion. Courage, preparation, and care had made them victorious without a single act of violence. Rick addressed his people. "We came here because we had nowhere else. We were cast out by the galaxy. Here we found shelter. Here we found allies. Here we survived because they welcomed us and we trusted them." Talent alien children played alongside human children in the open fields. Adults worked together repairing ships and sharing technology. Engineers, scientists, and volunteers shared meals, stories, and laughter. The future was uncertain, but it was alive, and for the first time it felt safe. John Carter spoke to the team quietly. "We did not defeat them with weapons," he said. "We defeated fear with trust. We survived because we stood together." Rick looked down at Earth, blue and calm beneath the fleet. "This world may be small," he said, "but it is strong because its people choose to act rightly. The galaxy has cast us out, but Earth has taken us in. That is more powerful than any fleet or weapon." The aliens began to integrate fully into human life. They worked alongside humans in every field: medicine, engineering, agriculture, and education. They shared knowledge freely, improving life for everyone. Humans learned to appreciate their resilience, ingenuity, and culture. Galactic forces remained at a distance, wary of engaging further. They had underestimated the strength that comes from trust, compassion, and unity. They could not measure it in weapons, numbers, or tactics. It was a strength beyond their calculations. Rick spoke to Lisa one evening. "We have survived because of your people," he said. "Your courage and kindness gave us life." Lisa smiled. "We survived together. Your people taught us patience, focus, and hope. We are stronger because we worked side by side." John Carter watched the sun rise over Earth. The alien fleet had landed, repairs were complete, and families of both species moved freely. Life, fragile and complex, continued. The world was quieter now, but alive. Hope had not only survived, it had grown. Rick gathered his council. "We were cast out," he said, "but we found a home. We were tested by the galaxy, but we endured. We are stronger together." Talent alien children ran to the fields, calling to human children. Laughter echoed under the bright sky. Adults smiled. Meals were shared, stories were told, knowledge was exchanged. The galaxy had tried to intimidate, to challenge, to punish. But humans and aliens had faced the storm and stood firm, not through violence, but through unity, trust, and courage. And as the stars shone above, Earth and its new allies looked forward, knowing that survival and hope were the strongest weapons of all. The galaxy had cast them out, but Earth had taken them in, and together they would endure.